Breaking news, FBI agents have filed a lawsuit over the U.S. Justice Department's efforts to identify agents who are participated in investigations related to January 6th. Now, this comes as we're on watch for a potential major shakeup of the FBI. Now, a reminder, FBI employees across the country were directed yesterday to turn in a questionnaire to supervisors about their possible work on January 6th cases. Supervisors collected the questionnaires, and today is the deadline to hand that information over to the Justice Department. Joining us now is CBS News Department of Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, thank you so much for being with us. First and foremost, talk about the gravity of this targeted questionnaire and what it really means for these FBI agents.
There's a concern that this will have a chilling effect on the FBI and its agents for the near future, if not for the long-term future of the FBI. That they're being questioned and scrutinized for their roles in the January 6th investigation is sending a message that they have to be careful what investigation they take next. That they may have to be careful not to take a case that may displease President Trump. So no matter if there are mass firings, mass resignations or not, a bell has already been rung that they can't unring. Now, what will happen next? Will there be large-scale employment actions, the showing of the door to many of the FBI agents? We're going to find that out in the hours and days to come. We do know from our CBS News reporting there are potentially thousands of FBI employees and agents impacted by this review. This January 6th investigation was no small thing, and it was not isolated to Washington, D.C. This was a national investigation involving nearly every U.S. state, all FBI field offices, and that yielded 1,500 plus defendants. So a lot of agents have their fingerprints on these cases. I think the more pressing concern right now is what challenges can be mustered and galvanized to stop or slow down any type of removal. There's a lawsuit just filed by 9 anonymous FBI employees trying to challenge the gathering of these names and any actions by the Department of Justice. They say, among other things, this is a violation of their rights, of their privacy, and what's more, they argue this list of employees who handle January 6 cases is potentially a piece of nitroglycerin. If it falls into the wrong hands, it's a national security concern, and these employees could be subjected to threats.
And to be clear, Scott, do FBI agents have a choice as to what case they're given to investigate? And I mean, are these employees essentially being investigated for doing their jobs?
That's what the advocates and the legal representatives of these FBI employees are saying, that FBI agents were doing their job. They were taking assignments, doing them diligently, and for my 4 years of covering the January 6 prosecutions, there was not one occasion where a judge laid a glove on what the FBI agents and employees did in the field. There was no question raised in the courts or adjudicated in the courts that showed misconduct by the FBI that would warrant disciplinary actions. They're simply surveying these employees to find out if they did any interviews. Did they do any arrests? Did they do any searches? That's the blocking and tackling of investigative work. This is what FBI agents are supposed to do.
Right. So what could happen next? And if this purge happens, is this a threat to public safety?
The removal of FBI agents, short of disciplinary reasons, short of significant cause, is going to thin out FBI field offices nationwide potentially. And there are big task forces these January 6th lead agents have as the rest of their job. Some of them are on the Violent Crimes Task Force. Some of them help pursue child sex predators. An awful lot of them, according to our CBS News review, are part of joint terrorism task forces in communities nationwide. These are agents that serve from Chicago to Colorado, California, Connecticut, New York, Texas. They would be winnowing out some pretty significant units inside the Bureau.
Yeah, there's a trickle-down effect to all of this. Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much for that insight.